Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, champion. I am making sure we have this pinned in the right place this morning, and then we will get started with our Monday morning motivation. Are you guys ready? Because I am pumped up. I see Sandy is asking if I am going live in here, and the answer is yes. I just have to find my post. Oh boy. Facebook. Let's try this again. Where is my post? It says we are live and I am not seeing us connected. Hey, Arnold, will you find me and post me or pin me to the top? That would be fantastic. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody is having a great day. Let me check and see. We've got a comment coming in, and it's Margaret. Margaret is saying good morning. Good morning, Margaret. So happy to have you. If you are coming in live today, don't forget to put hashtag live or hashtag replay and let us know that you are watching. We love having participation in our Monday morning motivation. And today we are talking about a fun and special topic, the ultimate success formula. I figured this was something that people would like to know about and get some key information on, because I don't know about you, but I spent the weekend in a Tony Robbins event called Unleash the Power Within, also known as UPW. I have my handy dandy booklet right here. This is one of the things you fill out during the event. And today we're going to cover the ultimate success formula. And I will tell you guys what I'm talking about as we go through the session today. You may not be familiar with UPW, that's the acronym for the event, but it is something that I have been doing since the pandemic in 2020. So Tony Robbins, very successful. He's been in business 40 plus years, number one success coach in the world. And his whole business was based around this signature program called UPW. And it's a 4-day event where he just like changes your world, because he shifts your thinking into a better place. And when the pandemic happened, he really wasn't sure what was going to happen. He had sworn off. He had said, I am never going to go do my events virtual. But because of what happened in the pandemic, there was no place that he could go live. And so he decided to change, imagine that, and went into virtual. And that's when I heard about him. I jumped on board, did the virtual UPW, decided to move into the Mastery University, and did a whole bunch of extra stuff. It was pretty crazy, way different. Good morning, Vanessa. So happy you're here. And we did UPW that first time, did the follow-on. It took about a year for me to get through Date with Destiny, Life and Wealth Mastery, and then Business Mastery. And along the way, I volunteered, found out that there was something called Leadership Mastery, became a graduate of the leadership program, which means I went back through Date with Destiny, Life Mastery, and the at the time, it wasn't wealth. So it was just those ones. And it gives you even more depth and understanding of how Tony does this 7 steps to lasting change. And so I have been trained in all of that. And now many of you know I'm what's known as a senior leader. So I can volunteer at the events, and I am in the rooms. We have Zoom rooms, and the Zoom rooms vary in size based on the event. Yesterday's event, at certain times, we had almost 300 people, but in the room. I wasn't volunteering this time, so I just got to be a participant, and it was pretty crazy. So this was the largest event that Tony has done so far. He believes there were over 60,000 people participating in the event. How crazy is that? I mean, we saw some rooms with like 12 people in them. I see Sarah has joined us. Wonderful, wonderful. So happy you guys have found the live and that you're here. And we are working on learning the ultimate success formula based on the information that I received this weekend at the Tony Robbins event, Unleash Your Power Within. And so this formula is a 5-step process that Tony shares to let people, get moving in their life, to change things up, just like UPW changed my life 4 years ago. And I have now attended 6 UPWs. But UPW is a framework. UPW is a set of information that you may not have heard before, and it's presented in such a way that it gives you time and opportunity, I think would be the best word for that, to really shift your thinking. But it's based on a framework. And I'm wondering what your current framework is in your life. Do you have a lifestyle framework that you follow for success? Before I met Tony, I learned about the ULA lifestyle framework, which was getting clarity on what you wanted in each of the 7 key areas of your life. And that was my lifestyle framework. It still is kind of the foundation of my lifestyle. But then I took the Tony things and it's like I added some steroids in certain areas to allow the process to be even more impactful in my life and in the lives of other women in our champion group that maybe haven't had the kind of success that Tony Robbins has had, or haven't yet been able to impact the world. And so we kind of sit back a little bit and we're watching and we're observing. We want more, but we're not there yet. That's what my market is. That's what I work towards, is helping people just like me get to where they want to go. And that's why we do the process that we do in our community. So we start the month out with a masterclass, a topic that we're focused on. It's usually based on one of the 7 key areas of life: fitness, finance, family. Then we do field, which is our business or our passion, our job, if you have one that you love. And then we go into faith, friends, and fun. And pretty much that's the gamut of everything you need in your life. And then we take that, after that first week, we have opportunities to work on the goals that we set for the month. And in the 3rd week, we do a check-in, we make sure that everybody's doing well. And then at the end of the month, we report back. How is it going? And so we are in the last week of March. And I'm just wondering, are you ready for the month to end? This is it. This is the last 7 days that we get of this week. And are you going to make the most of it? Or are you going to say, you know what, it's the end and I'm not really sure what I need to do, or I'll just wait till April to get started? And unfortunately, you don't need that. You don't need that at all. You need to just get started. And that's what we're going to talk about with the Ultimate Success Formula. So I see Sarah has joined us. Sarah, I'm glad you're here. And I know you love helping people. You're amazing. And Margaret also went to UPW this week, and she says it was amazing, because it truly was. It truly was. All right. So one of the things that I was thinking about as we come to the end of the month, right, is often we have this concept of we don't have enough time, right? There's just so many things going on. Maybe you didn't reach your goals that you set at the beginning of the month, or you've been struggling. It's already March or the end of March, and you set some goals at the beginning of the year, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not reaching the level that I want. I need more time. And there was a perfect quote that I heard this weekend that I wanted to share with you guys because I thought it was so apropos. And that is, man yells to God, give me more time. And God yells back, there is no more time. Give me more of you. And that was kind of the central theme of UPW. Like, how can you dig deeper, dig in, and really push yourself into the life that you are wanting, that you're craving, that you know that you are needing. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was an awesome quote too. I see many of you are commenting on that. Thank you. So let's jump into the Ultimate Success Formula. And spoiler alert, it's not that different than all the things I share with you guys on a regular basis, but I really wanted to put it into the framework and share with you what I know, which is what I tend to do on a regular basis. So, the very first step in the ultimate success formula, get your pens and papers out, is to know your outcome. When you have clarity on what it is that you are wanting, detailed clarity. It's not just, I want to lose some weight. It's, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to lose this much poundage. I am going to do it by eating healthy, by saying my affirmations every day, by hiring a coach, whatever it is. When you have a very detailed look of your outcome, when you write your goals down, when you break them into milestones, you're going to be able to know what you need to do next. A lot of times it's not for lack of want. We want a lot, but it's that we don't quite know how to do it. We don't know what step to take. And we let that be the reason why we don't make progress. Happiness is tied to our progress. So if we're not making progress, we get stuck. We lose the momentum. We lose faith in ourselves. But when we know, I'm betting you guys could write down a list of the things that you want in your life, and you would know the clarity level that you have. You would know your outcome. And that would allow you to move forward. You've had moments in your life before where you have been clear, and once you've had that clarity, you've been able to get success. That's called your blueprint. When we can formulate our past and what's worked for us and make the connection to our future and use those same principles, you already know everything you need is inside you. So that's really cool. You guys are awesome. All right, let's keep going with our next reason why, or we'll run out of time today. And I do want to point out that in March, we have been following our fitness Fingo board. And so we made a list at the beginning of the month of recommended steps you could take. And that may be helping you guys with your outcomes, because I like to say that your guys' outcomes are what matters, right? So I'm not trying to say this is what you do. I'm saying, let's figure out what works for you, and we work with what you need, not what I say is the way that you should run your life. I followed a lot of gurus in my life, and the ones that I want what people have, but when they tell me this in their order, and it doesn't fit with my way of organizing the world, I'm not successful in it, and it's frustrating. But I know that when someone is working with my desires, with my cares, with the situations that are going on in my life, and helping me figure it out from that place, way different results. And so each month we do this Fingo board where we kind of just put some structure around how to cover each of those goals. And we're starting to see the breakthroughs. We're starting to see the success. So get your board. It's in the files area of our community, and you'll be able to get some bingos before the end of the month, or as we like to call them, Fingos. The second part of the ultimate success formula is to know your reasons why you want what you want. So you have your outcome, your dream, your desire, and now you need to tie it to a very powerful reason. Your whys, if you've never done the 7 layers of why, you need to do that exercise. It's amazing. And I think it's in the community. You could type in 7 layers and see if you can find some old videos we've done on that. If not, put in the comments you want a link to it, and I will find that for you. But knowing your reason why is key, because as you might have the clarity, but if you don't have a strong, empowering, emotional reason why that's important to you, that's where we tend to procrastinate. We just lose momentum. We don't really have that oomph in us to get it done. We don't commit. But once you have it tied to something that's deeply important to your heart, then it all starts to make sense, and it's bigger than you are, and it pushes you in a way that you never thought was possible. All right, all right. I'm seeing lots of great messages in here. Vanessa, we will send the link afterwards and once I find it. And you guys are great. You guys are great. Okay. So let me keep going on here so that we have enough time today. And with the third step, which is imagine this, take massive action. Okay. I spent years and years and years just gorging, is what I'm going to call it, on information. I have all kinds of shelf knowledge, books on the shelf, right? All the things that I know would help me. But I took it all in and I didn't take action on it. I didn't do that step that allowed me. That's what I love about Tony's work is he has opened up my mind after 50 some years, right? Of thinking that knowledge was power. And now he has taught me that execution on what you know is the power. And so that is why I'm shifting into just like major, not going to keep a secret anymore on what I know. Instead, I'm just going to pour it all out and let you guys benefit from it because why not, right? And yes, if you're struggling, it might be because you haven't started taking the action. Yes, yes, so perfect, so perfect. Great insights. And it's hard to take the action, right? Like sometimes we know what to do, but we need that support that helps us because we can be like standing at the edge of the cliff and looking over and we're like, holy crap, I don't want to jump. But you can't get to the other side if you don't. And you need a cheerleader right there with you. Like, yes, it's a good plan. Yes, this is the reason why. Remember, and helping you, maybe even holding your hand. I think I told you guys that when I did UPW in person for the first time, we did the fire walk and I was terrified. I already have foot problems and I thought, oh no, what if I like really mess my feet up? Like if I get burns on the bottom of my feet and have even more pain, like what's going to happen? And I psyched myself out. But we get to the front of the line. The whole time we're walking to the line, we're like chanting that we can do it, that we can do it. And I get to the front of the line and I kind of lose it. I'm like, oh no, oh no, no. And I stepped back and I let someone go in front of me and I look off to the side and there was somebody on another line and there was a person holding their hand as they went across. And my person in my lane wasn't doing that for people, but she came up and she's like, you can do this, you can do this. And I'm standing there at the front and I said, okay, hold my hand. And I did it holding her hand. And I mean, that worked for me. I realized I needed that support and I needed to ask for it, right? She wouldn't have known if I hadn't asked for it. And I wouldn't have known that that was an option if I hadn't seen somebody do it. It was a beautiful experience for me, broke me open. I thought of all the times that I try to do everything by myself and I don't need other people, or I feel like everybody else can do it and I can't. And why can't I figure this out or whatever? We have to give ourselves grace in the progress, the process. And otherwise we're not going to make it. We're just going to sit in the corner and wish. And yet when you do everything that you need to do, when you're resourceful, like I was when I grabbed her hand, it could have been a totally different story if I had just been like, you know what? I can't walk across those coals. But no, I didn't take that as the answer. I did something different. I took massive action. Yes, yes. I'm reading your guys' comments. So, Vanessa, I hear you when you say you've never had support with anything and you need it. Yes, you do. That's why I created this community, you guys. Laura, you're here. Love to see you here too. Wonderful. Yeah, I think as women, we get terribly independent because we've had to, right? We have a belief system that says, I can't trust others. Maybe we've been harmed in our past. And so we just kind of go, okay, I can only rely on me, the only factor that I know. And so maybe that worked at a certain point in our life, but in order to move out of the point that we're at, we have to do something different. And that's this massive action. And it's uncomfortable. It hurts sometimes. It feels so awkward. And yet we can do it anyway. So love this, love this, love this. So we are doing the 5-step formula, the ultimate success formula. And as you can tell, we are on number 3. And the 4th one is know what you're getting. This means measure the results. So you've got your clarity, you've figured out your why, you're taking massive action, and now you just need to measure, is it working or not? If you've said that you need to lose some weight and you know it's important, it's a health issue that you just have to have happen, and then you're actually following the diet or you're working with somebody and you start to see the pounds come off, you're like, okay, this is working. But if you're doing everything and it feels like it's the right way, but it's not changing, the numbers on that scale are just the same every time. Number one, you're going to get terribly demotivated. But you have to recognize that. Otherwise, you're just feeling like things aren't working. But maybe you're measuring by blood tests. Maybe you're measuring by inches, not by weight. If you start to look at it differently, you might recognize that you're actually making much more progress than you're thinking. But if you had just stayed in the mindset of, I've got to lose weight, then you're not seeing the results. But if you have measurements that really make sense, that's why you need extra people, because sometimes you're just stuck in one way and that won't be helpful. Yes, know what you're getting. Measure, measure, measure is what Margaret's saying. Yes, very important. Like there's a saying my grandfather used to say, right? Measure twice, cut once. And it can apply in all areas of our life, right? Because what we're not measuring doesn't change. And so we want to do those measurements. Yes, you guys are awesome to be putting these in the chat. Thank you for that. Okay. Yes. And Laura says massive action, not someday, but now. I love it, love it, love it. I totally agree with that. Okay, so you guys ready for the last item? And that is, if it's not working, change your approach. Do something different. Be ultra resourceful. And, I will say that in my divorce, that was one of the things that made the process easier for me. Was when I was in a 25-year marriage, you guys. I tried a lot of stuff. But at a certain point when I put my line in the sand and said, this is how my life is going to be. And then things started going in a direction that I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to really happen. I worked so hard not to get divorced. But I also rested after that because I knew that I had done everything. And that was very impactful to me, because I don't think I could have done it if I had thought that I had left anything hanging, that I had failed in some way, right? If I had done it too premature in my own mind. So everything is a process. Every timeline is what's necessary for you. Like we have a saying in here, everything in divine timing, right? And that was my divine timing. When I finally stood up for myself, when I finally knew that this was the lifestyle that I wanted to live, was not the lifestyle that I was living in. And I gave up on what was going to happen. And I just move forward in the way that I needed to do. And that's when I was able to finally get out of that marriage. So I'll tell you guys a little revelation I had over this weekend that was pretty powerful. So many of you know that Chris's dad passed away on Thursday. And so we had a death in the family, and that's a hard thing to go through. And obviously I haven't lost a parent yet. I had that scare last week with my stepmom and her stroke, but I really wanted to be there for Chris, and I just wasn't sure what was going to happen. we had started UPW that morning, and I had gone to work. And in the process of the UPW, Chris called one of our kids and asked him to go check on his dad. And that's when his one of our sons was like, it just doesn't look good, Dad. And so Chris got in the car and headed there. And that's when he found his dad had passed. So I immediately went to Chris. We spent the afternoon together, trying to find out the details and so on. And then that evening we got home and we just kind of looked at each other, and there was a choice, right? We could have been like, okay, we're just going to sit and have memories and cry. And UPW was going on. And I said, how about we just let it go around and we just see what happens? Well, it put in, it got us thinking about different things. And on Friday, Chris chose that was what he wanted to do that day. And I said, honey, I'm here for you. I'm on bereavement leave. I'll do whatever it is you want to do. And so we did that. And we did it on Saturday. We did it on Sunday. The choice could have been that we just had a pity party of life and big place. But instead, we dug deep and we decided to pour all that energy into a different direction. And it was powerful, you guys. But one of the things that came out of that was, I left my first husband because of an addiction that he had. And he was an alcoholic and wouldn't admit it, didn't think that there was any options. I mean, I tried everything that I knew how to do. Chris and I have been married now, so I wasn't divorced at the time we met. I was separated, but there was no reconciliation, anything that was going on. And over this time period, he's had quite a few girlfriends and stuff. And one of them convinced him that he needed to go to treatment. And that was probably 3-4 years ago now. And he has been sober ever since, which was amazing to me, right? Like, that's what I wanted for him. And I hope you understand what I'm saying here. Like, it took me having that change in my resourcefulness. The answer was outside of my abilities. And then there was someone who knew more, who was able to come in and change life for him and my kids. My kids now have a version of their dad they didn't have before, because I took massive action, because I changed, because I stepped out of the equation. And the reason I'm telling you this is this weekend, my ex sent Chris a text telling him that he was sorry to hear about the loss of Chris's dad, and that he was praying. He and his wife were praying for Chris and the family. And I thought, wow, like what? Like, what a turnaround. And another amazing thing, right? I was never able to get my first husband to be a Christian, to want to pray or do anything like that. And so God's divine timing, right? Like, he has an experience now that he wasn't able to have with the limited resources that I had at that time in my life. And now God has changed it all and just had this incredible, amazing shift in many families now. So I don't know if that all makes sense to you guys, but that was a lot of some of the breakthrough that I had at UPW, was just that huge thinking. And I see there's a lot of comments. You guys have been doing amazing. Yeah, I love this. And I'm not sure who's saying this, but wow, look at God. Yeah, God is amazing. God is amazing. Okay, you guys are all amazing too. And Yvonne, I see you've joined us. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. We just covered the 5 steps to the ultimate success formula. And it's a process. And it's one of those things that I am doing without thinking about it now. It's part, like the Tony world, the Tony influence is deep in me. And I'm trying to bring it out and share it with as many people as possible. So one of the ways that I'm doing that is by doing 90-day planning workshops. And we have one coming this Saturday. So Easter Sunday, is coming up, but Easter Saturday, if you have time available to come in and do our 90-day planning, set your calendar up for the next 90 days. I highly, highly recommend it. So hashtag 90 if you want to be a part of that. It's going to be followed. I know that's a hard weekend for everybody, but if you put the hashtag 90, I will make sure you get access to the replays. And then starting that next week, so we're going to be doing the April masterclass, and it will be running Wednesday through Friday. It's always in the morning, but you have access to it. And if you go VIP, you can have evening Q&A with us, unless you're part of the Champions Voyage already, which you get it all anyway, including the weekend workshop that'll be happening that next Saturday. So lots of stuff on the books. And I want to pour into you guys everything that I know. I want to help you change your lives in the way that I know is possible. And I'm really excited about going forward, what's next, what's coming up in our lives. So let me look at the comments one more time. You guys are amazing. I see the workshops listed on here. Yes, Margaret's saying, come, because she's been doing that. Yes, I understand, Laura. I'm sorry that you lost a family friend as well. It's a rough time. I don't know about you guys, but maybe because my reticular activating system is activated at this point, it just seems like there's a lot of grief going on right now. We're losing a lot of people. I don't understand that, but it's just whatever the shift was in the universe. I've noticed it, a pattern of it lately. So, all right. You guys are amazing. I'm going to go back and listen to all of these chats because we got a lot of things going on there. And one last thing that you might want to comment on is what's an action you're going to take today as a result of listening to this video. Some of you already did it by putting the hashtag 90. Maybe it's some other thing that you are realizing needs to happen as part of that formula. What action are you going to take, right? This is the take massive action part. And then I'm going to get going because we have our newcomers connection party going on. And I want to make sure that anybody that's new in the group gets a chance to share their story and tell what's happening and gets to meet some of our amazing champions. If you want to come on over, I'll put the link into the comments in a couple of minutes, and then we can have a chat on Zoom. Have a great day, you guys. Love you all, and I'm looking forward to all the change we're going to see with each other. Take care.